All right, everybody, how's it going? What's going on? Good afternoon. It is 6 p.m. Central Time, the greatest time zone in the world. I'm so happy that all of you are joining me right now. Welcome to Caliber Corner Weekly Edition. And the Caliber Corner Weekly Edition podcast is dedicated to one particular firearm or one series of firearms that I've tested on the channel or that I've owned in the past, which means we could do a lot of episodes, which is going to be a lot of fun. We got an awesome panel with us tonight. And tonight we're talking about the Taurus G series line of pistols, specifically the G2s and G3s on up, just because that pistol is really, it's kind of revolutionized the industry in terms of what it offers for the value and the options and just what it can bring to the table, especially for a lot of new gun owners. And personally, myself, my own family, we've owned several of them, and I'm not endorsed or sponsored by Taurus. In fact, they have no idea who I am. But anyway, I am currently an owner of a G series Taurus pistol. I've owned several in the past. And we're going to talk about those tonight. Maybe just take a look at the lineup and see what's coming up and maybe speculate about what's coming out. So before we do that, before we give a shout out on the YouTube side, real quick, just want to mention we have Thunder on the Prairie 2022 coming up. And what that is basically a gun tuber range day that's going to happen south of Lincoln, Nebraska and Firth, Nebraska at Nebraska Shooters. And if you're interested in registering for that event, it's $25 for the day. You have to email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. And I will give you the password that you need to register for it. The idea is that gun tubers to get together. We're going to do some filming, do some shooting, do some chat and hanging out and kind of bonding a little bit. It's a good time. So if you're not a gun tuber, but you want to come and you want to do some shooting, but you understand there could be some pauses, interruptions, and people filming all over the place, just be ready for that kind of an environment, and you are more welcome to come to it. Also, you can email defensedad1@gmail.com, and he will help you get signed up too. It's $25 for the day. And we got some really cool sponsors on board for it that I'll be announcing here shortly. And it's going to be a good time. Second thing, Caliber Corner on Saturday. It's going to be an early episode. I might go Sunday. I haven't decided. I know it's already Thursday. I got some stuff coming up this weekend that I have to do, so I'm going to decide when to have an episode. It could be Sunday morning right before Gizzard Gary goes live, just to let you guys know. So just be watching for that on my channel. Be watching for the post, and I'll have the topic posted probably this evening. And if you guys want to make
my review video of it. So, but yeah, everybody can catch me, Chris from the 740 here on YouTube, and I put out a new video every Tuesday and Thursday, and I have my own live stream Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 Eastern.
So 7 to 9 Central Time for those of you that can read. Anyway, man, I'm just screwing with you. I'm saying us centrists, us central people, we think that we're just high and mighty above everybody else. But anyway, yeah, you guys make sure you check it out. Make sure you guys check out his show. You guys have a lot. There's a whole nother gun community that you belong to, Chris, which is cool because there's a lot of channels I'm discovering through you that I didn't know were out there. It's like we're little pods of little firearm fans, and we're all kind of slowly coming together. Yeah. I think that's a good thing. So I've subscribed to a lot of new channels through you, which has been a good experience. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Always good stuff. Okay, and also joining us, we've got the Bitter Taxpayer. Bitter Taxpayer, how's it going? How are you doing? Are you going to be okay? Did you get your check mailed off to Uncle Sam?
I'm waiting for the 11th hour. They can get their money when it's required, not before then.
So are you like 11:59 the night before it's due, just sitting there waiting? You're just going to shove that old lady out of the way and just boom, here, just postmark this for me, right? Is that what you're going to do? Is that the plan?
No, actually, if I'm smart about it, I'll go down there probably the first week in April, so sometime next week.
Yeah.
And make sure it gets. Yeah, I can drop it in the mail, but I'd rather go ahead and send it certified. That way, there's a tracking number and there's proof. In which case, if I wait until the 14th or 15th, I'll be in a line. So, yeah.
Well, this is actually the first year I've had to send mine in a long time, and I didn't do certifieds, but I did it yesterday, so I should have plenty of time to get it there. But yeah,
I don't necessarily have to mail them a cashier's check. I can do it electronically.
Yeah, you can. You can. Yep, you can pay it online.
So maybe I will do it at 11:59.
But be sure your balance due is on the website, because I went on there and mine is not, and that's happened to a lot of people. And there's people that have had that for the last 2 or 3 years. The balance due never actually showed up. So they couldn't go pay anything because they didn't know what they owed. So, or they know what they owe, but they didn't want to do it because they didn't know if the government knew what they were going to be sending them. So I'd almost say leave a paper trail certified, So what's crazy about this is all my money's going to Chris's state. It's going to Cincinnati, Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. Chris, you're in Ohio, aren't you?
Yep.
Why do you guys get the IRS hub? That's scary, man. I don't want to send my money to you.
Have you been to Cincinnati?
I don't want to go. Yeah. Is it scary or what? Yeah.
It could use a paint job and some new screen doors. It's
just take around the block, kick the tires. It's going to be fine, right?
I lived there for a couple of years.
Yep. Now I'm sending my money to Cincinnati. So anyway, so Bitter Taxpayer, tell us about your channel. I believe it's called the Squibload channel, right?
Oh no, there's a Bitter Taxpayer channel. There's a lot of different channels out there.
You got Squibload, you got Squiblift, you've got Bitter Taxpayer. Okay.
And a few others that I've never told you about.
Oh my God. Well, how am I supposed to find these? Just magically discover them? They're never going to get recommended to me through the algorithm. Come on, man.
Good. That's the whole point. If you stumble across them by mistake, or you decide that you like it from an unbiased perspective, so be it. And if not, no big deal. Analytics aren't important to me.
There you go.
Oh God, he's got one called Squibbly Fans, I bet.
Oh man. All right. So real quick, let's just address Raw Feeding 101, then we'll continue with the intros. Raw Feeding 101 with the super chat says, my first gun and current carry is my G2C with thousands of rounds through it, and I love it. My brother-in-law both have a G3 Toro, and they've been great. So there are pros and cons about that gun. We're not just here to praise it to the high and mighty. There are a few challenges the G series pistols have had, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But Raw Feeding, I'm glad that's worked out for you. Also joining me from Nebraska, from the capital city, is Defense Dad. Defense Dad, how's your evening going? You doing good? You hanging in there?
Yeah, I took a 2-hour nap, woke up at 5, just finished dinner. I'm good.
Ooh, nice. Did you get that E rebuilt yet?
Not yet.
So we're gonna have some range time coming up pretty soon, or are you gonna kind of wait a while?
Well, I was gonna go out today, but I popped out there and they were still doing maintenance on the range, so I didn't get much done.
Yes. Cool.
But
man,
yeah,
cool.
I need to, that's for sure.
So guys, check out Defense Dad's channel. He's got a good variety of videos. I mean, he really features a lot of cool content. You know, you're getting this a lot of these items are sent to us, and you're getting an honest review on them, which is always a good thing. So make sure you guys get over there and subscribe to Defense Dad's channel, and a lot of good stuff. So anything else you want to mention, Defense Dad? Any other plugs you want to get out there?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, and I mentioned the range day to let people know, hey, if you want to be part of it, you need to get signed up so we know who you are, and we'll get you that password so you can sign up. So
yeah, you probably mentioned it, but get RSVP'd by today, and that's the deadline for the cool free swag. You can still register after that, but then you'll miss out on some stuff.
We're getting some cool sponsors on board. I've actually got a few local companies I'm going to be talking to, a few local businesses that want to contribute too. So it's going to definitely be a lot of fun. Just people kind of give a little something back to those people that make the journey to be there. So
yep,
there you go. Cool. All right. Also joining us, we got Rich White with This Week Unloaded. Rich, how's your day going? How are you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we're doing okay, man. We're doing okay. So what you been up to these days? What's going on?
Not too much, honestly.
Stay busy.
Yeah, I got a little package here. Gonna have to do a review on this coming up. I'm not gonna say what it is. If you want to find out, you're gonna have to look on the Unloaded Media channel coming up. But there is something.
It's on the package. The name.
Oh no, just the brand is. It's not.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good, man. And then it's on you said the Unloaded Media channel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Make sure you guys get over there and subscribe to that also. A lot of good stuff. Now, you do a couple shows. What are the podcasts that you do for people that are curious?
Yeah, we do a wrestling one Saturday nights at 9:05 p.m. Eastern, old TBS time from back in the 80s. And then on Sundays, we do This Week Unloaded, and that's at 8:30 p.m. Both times are Eastern.
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. Awesome. All right, cool. Make sure you guys check it out. And last but not least, we got Single Shot joining us. He's somewhere out on the East Coast, right? Single Shot, how's your evening going?
Not too bad. I'm up here in Sparta, Wisconsin right now. Got 2 deliveries to make tomorrow, one in Sparta and the other one in another town. And then we pick up at a town here in Wisconsin going down to Tennessee. So we'll be busy the next few days for that. Check out Daywolf on Rumble. That's the Rumble channel. And Single Shot on YouTube. And hope everybody's doing well.
Heck yeah, man. We're doing good. Just a little shout out to those people that are going down to Tulsa to the Wanamaker Arms Show. You guys have yourselves a good time. You're really going to enjoy it. There's tons of tables down there. If you're subscribed to me and you're sub to anybody that's in our little community and circle. You're going to see a lot of content coming out of that show. It's going to be a lot of great stories, a lot of fun stuff. Probably going to be some live streaming happening and some stuff in the evenings too. So just be ready for the bonding and debauchery that is the Wanamaker Arms show. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a good time. So give a little shout out real quick to those people that are watching this evening on the YouTube side. We've got Dante, JH586, the Silent One, Vanessa Kitty's out there, Tactical Fud, Chris in the 740s over there and over here. Defense Dad's over there and over here. He says I'm fashionably late. No, Defense Dad, you're always in style. So there you go. Raw Feeding 101, Sandhills Media is in the house. Scott 79, Irish Wrist Watchers out there today too. 2 Live Moves in the house. Keywords watching today. Kingpin says yo. So let's see. There's just a few comments about the pistol that are popping out on the YouTube side. So we'll talk about what exactly the G3 series of pistols are, kind of what they came from, and what you should know if you're in the market for one. The Silent One says, I own a G3C Toro and a G2C. They ain't my Glocks, but they are nice weapons. Yeah, our family has several of the PT-111 G2s and the G3Cs, and they've always been really good. Again, there was that comment from Raw Feeding 101 earlier. The pistols have held up really well too. Sandhills Media, mic drop, Central Time, the only in caps time zone that matters. So anyway, the GD, let's just kind of talk about our experiences with this pistol, what we think about them, what do we know about them? Then we'll take a look at some of the models that are out there. Originally, I believe there was like a PT 24/7 G1 series that came out a long time ago, had some issues, kind of left a bitter taste in the mouths of people that maybe consider Taurus and got burned by them and so on. And then things changed. I don't remember if it was 6-7 years ago. The PT 111 G2s came out, and let me just show you a picture of what it looks like. It looks very similar to the current G3C, but there's a few subtle differences and stuff like that. Let me share the tab with you guys here real quick. Let's see your slides. Share screen. There we go. All right, so here we go. So this is the PT-111 G2, and I featured this gun heavily on my channel, cleaning videos, range tests with all kinds of different ammo, accessories. I hot mine up a little bit. I was one of the first channels to feature it with the, let's see, Lakeline LLC stainless steel guide rod, which is the standard now that Taurus actually sells on their website as a replacement guide rod you can buy for it. Also, I put Trijicon night sights on my. Trijicon actually made a replacement night sight set for the PT-111 G2. And even though people criticized me and said I couldn't believe you spent more money on accessories than you spent on the gun, they don't seem to realize that people do customize their guns to make them work better for them. So this is the old granddaddy, the Millennium G2. Very reliable pistol. There are some distinct advantages between this and the G3C. But before we talk about that, I just want to kind of run this around the panel and see what their experiences, positive and negative, Defense Dad, are about the G series of pistols. So, Single Shot, do you have any experience at all with the Taurus G series pistols? Have you ever seen them in the store or looked at them online or anything like that?
No, not the G3. The G2, my brother bought
any
one.
of the G series? Okay. Who got one?
G2,
your brother?
Yeah, he got a G2, and I shot the only thing that he and I have noticed about it was the long trigger pull there to get to the wall on that thing. But
it touches the grip module basically. Yeah. So there's the G2C and there's also the G2S. A lot of people didn't realize they made the G2S, which I think was a single stack model. If I'm not mistaken, it was the thinner version of the G2C. The G2C was the replacement for the PT-111 G2. G2C had a few enhanced features, took a few things off of it that the PT-111 G2 had on it. I think possibly, I could be wrong here, but I thought maybe the G2C was the first line to standardize the sights and use the Glock sights, but it could be wrong. It could have been the G3Cs that did that. But anyway,
it was the G3C.
G3Cs were the first ones. Yeah. So anyway, there wasn't a lot of price difference between the G2Cs and the PT-111 G2s. And there was a lot of things that, we were commenting about back in the day, like, I wish they'd make one without a safety. I wish they'd make one without the loaded chamber indicator. And sure enough, you have those options now if you look at certain models in the G series that Taurus has to offer. And so it's kind of interesting. They seem to offer, I'm surprised they still sell the G2Cs because they have deals on them and stuff from time to time. They just got done with a rebate on the G3C, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago. And I think they still make the G2C so they can still bring them in at, like a basically like almost $200, $225, $249 price point. And then kind of go up from there. So they kind of hit every budget level for a person that's interested in buying one.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of Taurus myself with different models. I've got the PT-111 I think on the 101 40 cal. And I've also got that Taurus ultralight revolver 44 mag. So I've got a couple of Taurus products, and so far I haven't had too much trouble with them at all. They seem to function and shoot quite well. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. We had a good time with that one of his, and I think that was a G2C. Come think of it. So it's a nice little pistol. It's not bad at all.
I don't know if they still make. I'll have to go back to the Taurus website. I'm not sure if they make the G2S at this point, but you can find them out there. There's tons of them out there. Raw Feeding 101 says the G2S was kind of a flop in my opinion because the grip was only slightly thinner, but the upper frame and slide are exactly the same, so it doesn't really do anything for ease of concealment. So when I
got my G2C, they had the G2S there, and it just was like, why?
I mean, I think they were offering it at I think they're at like a lower price point. Maybe you would see those on sale because a lot of people were buying them.
Yeah, it was the same price.
Well, I've got a buddy.
They do make a G2S actually. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got a buddy. He still carries his G2S. He actually likes it a little bit better. It's just a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
Is that just like a 6+1 or is it 7+1 or something like that? You guys?
It's a single stack. I forget the capacity.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's 7+1. It's comparable to the Smith & Wesson Shield on capacity and stuff. And the reason why I'm saying I didn't get the point of it is because at the shop when I got my G2C, they had the G2S, like I said, and then right next to it, they had a Smith & Wesson Shield for $50 more. The Gen 1 Shield.
It really depends on the store. I would tell a lot of people don't pay MSRP for this pistol because most places have it $50 to $100 under MSRP when you find it. So like, here's your G2Ss, right? But like, the G3Cs, they'll MSRP like at $399. A lot of places have it for $349 or less, like $299. So you want to look around before you buy one. And if you do buy one online, many times they really advertise them heavily discounted, but after the price of the transfer and after the price of the shipping, you didn't really come out much ahead. So it's one of those times where you almost maybe consider buying it locally. But yeah, I'm not sure on that. So, all right. So single shot, you said you have a little experience with it. Okay. And Rich White, then which model do you have or what's been your experiences with the pistol so far?
Yeah, I got the G2C, and unlike some people, mine has a really nice trigger on it. I haven't had any issues with the trigger on mine. Like I know you said you've had issues with trigger with yours, and some other people where the trigger will catch if you don't pull it back just right and stuff. I haven't experienced any of that. So, but I've seen other people have said the same thing that they haven't had any issues. So I'm guessing that it's like a hit or miss kind of situation with the trigger on it.
Oh yeah, that's just 9 o'clock, man. Yeah,
I just had a long travel on that trigger to get to the wall. It seemed like it was just a lot of empty space there.
See, I haven't had mine. Doesn't have a long travel on it, and it doesn't catch like what Travis said his does. So that's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, let's explain what this is. Okay, so if somebody has a PT111 G2 or they have a G2C or a G2S, what it is the little trigger safety. If it's not pressed straight back into the trigger, if you put any side pressure on that little dingus on the trigger, on that little trigger safety, it'll catch as you pull back, and you think you're hitting the wall, and you're gonna think the gun's gonna go off, but it doesn't. It clicks, and then you have like another 1/4 inch of pull, and it doesn't really, you don't really notice it unless you're doing really slow trigger pulls, and it might catch your finger just the right angle, and it's kind of like it kind of makes like a click sound, and then it hits the wall, and then it goes off. So Rich, what we mean by a long trigger pull is like it doesn't break until the trigger.
Yeah, I know. I understand all that.
Almost in the grip frame. Yeah.
Mine doesn't do that. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a hit or miss situation with the triggers on them. I guess it's the quality control or something that comes through how well the trigger was made.
Okay.
Taurus isn't the best when it comes to finishing sometimes on their stuff. I think we can all agree on that. So it's probably one of those variables, depending on who made it and what day of the week, you might get a really nice trigger or you might get a bad trigger. It's like, I don't know if you watch Honest Outlaw's channel.
Oh yeah.
Did you see his video on his Taurus 1911 where he had a 10-pound trigger on a 1911? Yeah, I've seen other Tauruses where the trigger was like 3 pounds. So I mean, it's just a Taurus thing, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can test it in the store too before you take it home, like if you can dry fire it a couple times, just make sure there's nothing weird or notchy about it. That's always a good thing. A few people did complain when the G3s and G3Cs first came out they were complaining like they would be able to get the barrel out to clean it, but then they can never get the barrel to go back in. Like I had a lot of people comment on my videos telling me about that. Just that and the Nachi trigger were two of the things that people complained about the most on my cleaning video for the gun and my range test, which have a lot of views. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I've heard so much feedback about this line of pistols over the last 5 years that, you know, there's a lot of little things you pick up on that a lot of people complain about. So yeah.
I think a lot, like I said, I think all of it's just like their quality control, and you know, depends on what day of the week the gun was made and who put the trigger and whatnot, you know.
And the thing is, there are aftermarket triggers too for that whole stuff. You can customize those guns and make them. You can customize them just like a Glock. I'm not kidding. You got slide options, you know, RMR cuts if you don't have a Toro. You've got barrels. You've got companies that will do things with it. You got, I mean, there's so much stuff you can do to that gun. It is unreal, but countless numbers of sight options you can put on it.
Yeah, wasn't Apex making a trigger for it at one point?
That they might already have one out there. There are several companies that make aftermarket triggers for it. I know it can be a little bit of a pain to change, but there are some videos that take you through the steps that you can watch to do it. But I would maybe consider it, or just, you know, maybe trade and get a G3C, because that trigger, aside from being long before it breaks, it is a much improved trigger. First of all, the trigger itself mechanically is different from the G2S and the G2C. The G3C trigger is, in my opinion, more like a Glock trigger. It's thicker, it's wider, it's more flat, it's got more of a crisp break to it. I demonstrated if I didn't want to get my channel shut down, but I've got a G3C sitting right next to me. So it is different, but it does have that long draw, but it does have a fairly short reset. And that long draw also can give you some setbacks, which we'll talk about here in a little bit too.
Yeah, I just want to clarify it. Yeah, I said it has a nice trigger. Yes, it has a nice trigger for the price point. Okay, I don't want to say that this is as good a trigger as like my special or my limited edition P10C. Okay, it's not that nice of a trigger.
Oh yeah, no. Raw Feeding 101 sums it up. It's probably because I've only shot other pistols briefly, but I have no complaints about the G2C trigger. It's no 1911 trigger, but it's not a nightmare like the CPX guns from Sky. So CPX does have the new DXG or DVG pistols that have come out that have like a flat face trigger, striker fire. The old CPX2 triggers, CPX1, CPX2, CPX3, I think, they're a very heavy trigger pull. I want to say they're 10 to 12 pounds. I'm just guessing. Double action.
My wife had a Ruger LCP, the first gen ones. That thing had a 12 to 13 pound trigger on it.
And also, I mean, you can get used to it, but like the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard triggers, the Bodyguard Series 1s, they were like this super long reset, real heavy pulls. Like you had to really brace yourself when you shot, or your shots would be off. So granted, those are, you know, much more closer distance pistols. All right, so Chris, let's move on to you. So not ruining what you cover in your video, give us your take on the G3C. What do you think about it?
I don't really have a whole lot of negatives about it, so I'll just start with what I didn't like about it. I didn't like the safety on it.
It's just kind of they need to make one without. They need to make just a straight up G3C without the safety, which, you know, they got the G3X or XL now that's out, but yeah.
Being that I'm left-handed, I wish it would have had an ambi slide release on it, but it's under $300, so you get what you get. What I was pleasantly surprised with was the actual trigger on that. And I'm a trigger snob. I normally hate almost any factory trigger. Now, that trigger does have a long take up, but it wasn't gritty or anything. It was real smooth. But what I really liked about it was the break and the reset. It's got a really nice reset on it.
Yeah.
The only weird thing that I had happen with it, we tried 4 ammos. We shot CCI Blazer through it. Ran everything fine. No stovepipes, failure to feeds, anything. We had the same with the ZQI 124 grain nickel plated, ran perfect. And then we ran 115 grain Aguila bulk ammo through it, ran it perfect. But for some reason, it would not. I couldn't get my 124 grain reloads to plunk test in the barrel, and it was strange because I use the same Summit City bullet reload in every gun, every 9mm I test on the channel, but it wasn't happening. No way to get those to feed. So
I wonder if it's just such a tight chamber. Maybe if you don't have, we've had trouble before too. You know, I had Foos load some 124 grain sport shooters ammunition ammo for me, and it would shoot through my Glocks just fine. It would shoot through my PCC just fine. But then on those PT111 G2s, I think they've got a real extreme feeding ramp, and it kind of gets caught up when it's going in there. The other problem I've noticed is with Hornady Critical Defense, There's one way that it won't charge around. Like, I don't know if it's you try to push the slide release, it will jam on the first round of critical defense, 115 grain. So you have to top charge it to set the first round. But then after that, it's going to work just fine. And what happens is that rubbery stopper in the end of the critical defense ammo, it hits that feed ramp, which is highly polished, and it just like skids on it and stops. Like it gets buckled, it gets caught on it.
Right.
So you want to make sure, like right now in mine, I'm running 6 hour V Crown. I think it's 115 grain. No trouble at all. I mean, it's a very potent round. It's a great round. But I did notice with critical defense, which is what I used to always carry in it, that first round when you chambered it would have issues. So I don't know if it's like a crimp issue with the case and the 124, or if it's just a thicker. Is it possible that you could have a wider diameter on a 124 versus a 115? Is that a possibility? It could just be a 1/10 of an inch off, just enough to cause speeding issues, or what?
Yeah, what frustrated, like I said, the gun was loaned to me for a review, so it wasn't mine. But I really wished I would have took some more of my reloads out there, some different 115 grain, some 90 grain stuff, some hollow points that I've loaded. That was all I had at the time because, like I said, we never had issues with them running in anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been, I could have possibly set the bullet back a little further. I think we had those loaded at 1.10 on the length, so we could have bumped them back, and it might have been okay. But if I get the gun back to the channel another time, then we'll test a bunch of different reloads in it.
Oh yeah. Real quick here, Travis T says, and then Defense Stat will come to you, your experiences on it. Travis T says, I have a G2S and the pull isn't bad, but it feels like the trigger breaks way back. No, it does. The trigger basically touches the grip. It touches the front of the grip frame. Like when you pull your finger back all the way, that trigger basically makes contact with the frame right when it breaks. And then Travis T says, I've thought a couple times it wasn't racked. I'm thinking maybe, and this is just my hypothesis here, maybe it's got such a long pull because of the second strike capability that it offers you. So if your round doesn't fire the first time, just as a nature of habit, I immediately eject the round and chamber a fresh round. If the gun doesn't go off when I pull the trigger, I don't wait. I'm just kind of trained that way. So I'm thinking maybe that long pull has something to do with the second strike. It cocks that striker back so it can hit it a second time without having to be charged with the slide. So maybe that's it. Yeah.
When you go to do the second strike, it's kind of like having a double action, single action.
Mm-hmm.
Only without a hammer.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. That's probably the reason why I got, because I'm sitting there thinking, why haven't they fixed that issue? I know that the G3C trigger pull is a little bit shorter. You also have a thicker trigger, so it might give you the perception that it's actually breaking sooner when it doesn't. But it does have a more defined wall to it before it goes off. But it's like a quarter inch before you hit the back of the frame. So, all right. And then so we talked about a little bit about the good and the bad. Now Defense Stat, let's talk about the ugly. What's your experience with the G3C?
Well, so I've had 3. So I've had good luck, bad luck, and okay luck.
Okay luck, yeah.
And when I say that, so my first carry gun, my first gun was a Ruger SR9, but I wanted something smaller, so I bought a G2C. Took my qualification with that. I loved that gun. I bought it for $175, brand new. By the time I sold it, I probably had, I don't know, 3, maybe 4,000. I lost count. I just shot it. Rounds through it. You guys have touched on some of the stuff that I was going to touch. Like, people focus on that long trigger pull and everything. I think you're right. I think it has to do something with that second strike, because it's kind of a pseudo single action, dual action is how they advertise it.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't focus is the light, crisp, and fast reset they have on their triggers, and that's both on the G2C and the G3C. You can shoot fast with that, and it's a nice break to it. I personally liked the G2C better. I didn't care about the flat trigger. Maybe it's because it was only my second gun and I hadn't become a gun snob yet. But hang on, sorry. Let's open another window there. I really liked it. I liked because the G series for me is always shot low, and I hated that. And
low and left.
Well, for me, low and the right, but
okay. So me low and left. So obviously, I got an idea about what that is, but yeah.
Well, and I'm one of those. It was a $175 gun. I wasn't going to put $200 with accessories to correct it, or else I should have just bought something else. But the G2C had the adjustable both for windage and elevation rear sight on it. And when I had the rear sight cranked all the way up, it shot dead on the bull. I was very, very accurate with it. I lost that when I went to the G3C.
Yes.
with the Glock sights, it always shot low for me. And then, you were shooting that one day with me, and it had a catastrophic failure. It was the
magazine release wire that's built into the frame of the gun broke.
Well,
I broke it. I broke it. I was just ejecting the mag and it snapped, basically.
I think it was where it mounted. I think it was molded. Yeah. But anyway, it was bad enough they replaced it with a brand new gun. So, I mean, that just happened to break when it was in your hands. It would have broken mine too.
So what was your turnaround time from beginning to end? Because you hear horror stories. It used to be horror stories about Taurus. Now they've got either a new repair center or they've upgraded their repair center. They've heard the complaints from people about sending the gun in and waiting 6 months and not getting a reply back and stuff. So what was your experience with the Taurus customer service? And this was before you didn't call them up and tell them you had a YouTube channel and they need to give you good service or you're going to rip them online, right? You didn't say that, did you?
Right. No, I'm not a big enough channel to they could be like, oh, who cares?
They would. Anyway, yeah.
But however, so I was a little frustrated trying to call them. You're going to get nowhere. But if you do the online chat, they answered right away. Turnaround time, I honestly don't. It's been a while ago. It was either 6 or 8 weeks. It wasn't bad. Brand new gun. In the meantime, I had just bought more guns, and then once I got the G3C, I was kind of past it. Quite honestly, if I was to get another G series, I would look for a G2C just because I liked it better than the G3C.
Okay.
And I did. The only modifications I did to that G2C was I did put the Lakeline coil spring and rod in it. And I did put a polymer, or not a polymer, but a fiber optic front sight on it. So I had like $40 worth of accessories on it was all. Mm-hmm. And ultimately the reason I got rid of it, I wish I would have never sold the G2C to be honest. But the reason I finally got rid of the G3C is it was just kind of a weird size in between my P938 and my PPQ subcompact, and I already had several carry guns, so it was just time to sell it. But yeah, if I were to buy another one, I would definitely get a G2C personally.
Okay. So what I've read about the low and to the left, because so many tests that I've read online and videos I've watched on this, the low and to the left thing. First of all, that trigger, they say it's a long pull. It really is no tension or take up until you hit the wall. It's just like dead space on the trigger. It's probably priming the primer or pulling back the spring, but you don't really notice it. What I think it is because you have such an extreme trigger break. If you ever look at your hand, if you were to like kind of turn, kind of pretend that you're pulling a trigger, if you keep going, eventually like your whole hand starts to twist. Unless you really consciously hold it and pull the trigger straight back, you just naturally kind of, if you're right-handed and for you left-handed to the right, you just kind of naturally have a tendency to tilt in that direction. And one of the flaws, the only flaw I'd really say, that long trigger pull, and you can learn to compensate for that. You can learn to shoot it differently. You can work with different finger placement, maybe put more finger on it so you're not necessarily pressing it so far. You're more of like pulling it straight back. Is that long pull, because it breaks so far back physically, your human hand is pushing it a little bit to the left. So that's why for me, it doesn't matter how careful. I've got to be very careful and very conscious with it to not have it shoot low and to left. And just like what you said, when I had my PT111 G2, I was able to adjust my rear sight for windage and move it over, and also height with that adjustable rear sight. And maybe there are aftermarket G3C adjustable sights. I don't know, looking at it, probably not, because there's such a small shelf on the back, but there might be somebody out there that makes one that you can get the Taurus series, which we'll talk about in a little bit too, which is basically optics ready. And that would alleviate the problem because you'd be tuned in with the red dot. But if you ever had to fall back on your iron sights and you're going to shoot low and to the left, that problem is going to be amplified at a longer distance. So if you had to take a self-defense shot beyond 3 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, say somebody's coming at you, whatever, you had to use it, that's going to be, you're going to get that exaggeration in the shot placement also. You could miss potentially. If you're 3 inches off at 3 yards and you're, exponentially off at 9 or 10 yards, you could miss your target. So,
yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, with the sight speed adjustable, like I said, I took my concealed carry qualification with that, but I also, the first 2 times I took the FBI qual was with that gun, and I did very well. And now, you're 25 yards of that. So, yeah. I just, even though they were made out of polymer, I think that sight system was better, and I think they should have probably kept it. But so many people complained about it because it didn't have Glock sights.
Yeah, then they standardized with Glock sights. And I have not drifted my G3 sight yet, the rear sight. I was going to try that and see if that's one way to get, that would be one way to get past. It would be to drift the rear sight, which I haven't done yet. I really need to get a side pusher tool because I don't have one for a few of my guns. I need to make some adjustments. And so that's something that would definitely, I think, come in handy.
I've got one.
Well, yeah, you got yours too. Yeah.
Yeah, I got order one.
Are there adjustable Glock sights? I mean, there's adjustable Glock sights for competition. You can put those on there, right?
If it's the dovetail compatible sight, then yeah, there's going to be a sight out there that would definitely fit. Maybe it could be too wide and it could be too long because your Glock slide is going to be wider and longer, so it might not fit. I don't know.
Depends on what Glock you get.
True. Yeah, this is true. If you get one for maybe like a G19, the sights might be compatible. So, but they need standardized. Yeah.
I think the sights for the G2, don't quote me, but the G2C and G3C, I think they're sights for either the 43 or the 26.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look. But again, if you go into the aftermarket, there's a ton of options out there. But again, part of it just that definitely has to do with that long trigger pull. So real quick, what I'll do is just take us over to the Taurus website real quick and just see what's out there. Like, what are the different models that they have? Because I'm still surprised that they have the G2C and the G2S available. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are still buying them and they want to keep them at that price point. So when we talk about the G series, so it looks like right now there's a G3C rebate that's out there. The $25 is still going on through April 15th, which again, you want to look around online versus local. Sometimes your locals will match your online prices or come really close to it. So under the pistols, we're talking about the GX4, which is their micro subcompact, right? The G3, the G3C, the G3X, the G3XL, and then the G2C and the G2S, which they still have those listed on the website. And then some of these other ones share some design cues, but they're different models altogether. A lot of us know about the G3 and the G3C already because they've been out for a couple years. The G3X, so they're kind of taking a page out of the Glock playbook. Your G3X is going to offer you the G3C slide with the G3 frame. And I'm assuming you can probably do the same thing at home if you have both pistols. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it, but I would think so. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you know anything about the G3X? Have you guys checked into it before?
I haven't. I held it. They had one at Shields. It's okay. I don't think it'd be for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 19X. Yeah, it's kind of like the 19X concept where you got the G3C slide on a G3 frame, so you get a little bigger magazine capacity.
Yeah. I guess if you've got larger hands, I mean, the PT-111 G2 may not fit your hands. Bitter taxpayer, you got to shoot my PT-111 G2, and you've got pretty good sized hands. You had no trouble with it, maneuvering it. You didn't take a lot of shots with it, but you got to shoot it a couple times at the range when we were there.
I typically wouldn't shoot a gun that size. That gun felt comfortable in my hands. The grips felt fine. The texture of the grips kind of helped a little bit. I was really surprised at how well the ergonomics were on it for that size. I typically shy away from guns like that, but I wouldn't hesitate to get one of those for myself if I wanted something in that size for concealed carry or something like that.
Okay. Raw Feeding 101 says swapping those slides is too short. The channel 2AEDU did a full review on this. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying that this is one option. And from a concealability standpoint, I mean, it's the shorter grip that I think you want because of less printing. But again, you can really make just about anything work for you if you dress appropriately for concealing and then also have the proper holster and the proper setup. I mean, you can hide whatever you want. So people that want that 15 round capability but don't want the extended mag sticking out of their G3C, this is going to be an option for you if you want to go that route. So, all right. So we've got that one. And then we also have, as we go back here real quick and check out the lineup, the other one to look at is the G3 XL, which I think was just announced recently. So this is cool. I've had the opportunity to take my P365 and put a P365 XL slide on it, and I believe that does work. I haven't shot it, but I've swapped them and it fit. My stepdad's got a P365 XL. This I see as really not a bad option. You've got that G3 slide, the G3 barrel length, but you've got the G3C frame essentially. And I believe that this one's available without the safety, so that's another option too, which is kind of nice. You don't have to worry about that part of it. More of just a true double action pistol with no BS in the way. Nice thing about that, you're going to gain a little bit of velocity from the longer barrel. You're going to have maybe a little bit better balance to it also. It's going to have a nice balance to it. Might be a little bit front heavy. But again, it says 12 rounds. So, and then you say to yourself, well, I want that with like a 15 or 17. Well, then you just simply go to the G3 series. So that's something that that's out there too. So the XL was recently announced. But again, the nice thing about this, and those prices you're seeing on there, you're going to pay less than that. You should be paying less than that at a lot of your gun stores. Or not. Typically, they don't charge MSRP unless it's like a pandemic situation, and they're just buying them and they don't have to negotiate on the price. Let's see. Raw
What
feeding
about-
101s. Go ahead. Yeah.
What about mags? Replacement mags for these?
Oh.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are there any aftermarket, or everything's all Taurus? And what's the kind of price range for something like this?
They're
I'm gonna say-
only $15-20, and you can get them all day long.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shields actually has them in stock for the well, and then also, if I'm not mistaken, the G3C, the PT111 G2, and the G2C, those all use the same magazines. You get 3 of them with the G3C and also a G3. You get 3 mags, depending on how you want to buy the setup, like 310s or 117 and 215s, or however it comes. So you get 3 mags at least with the G3C. So you're going to get that right out of the box, which is a good thing. Mags are readily available. Yeah.
If you have problems with it, then you end up with 5.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah.
Mechgar was the ones that was making mags for those, right?
I think they sure looked like it. I think.
Let me look. So I've got here we go. Yeah, mag right here. So this one says made in Brazil. So these are not Mechgar. I'm sure there's probably a Mechgar option out there.
Yeah, mine say made in USA on them. So I was wondering.
And they also, if you get into the forums, like some of the, I belong to the a really cool group out on Facebook. It's like the G3C, Taurus G3, G2C owners group. They've just been adding to the name as Taurus comes out with more models. It's really cool. But there, you could ask a question on there, and somebody would definitely say, hey, you can use this mag with it or that mag, or if you can get a Taurus base plate, you can use like a Sig mag with it. So there's always somebody showing you some magazine compatibility.
Now, are yours blued? 'Cause the magazines I got with my G2C were blued.
Yep, these are blued. Yep, they're nice and shiny. Those are blued.
I think the thing about the G line, it's got such a cult following anymore because it's really what's brought Taurus back into being reliable and people liking them. I don't think it's going to be hard to find parts for them. I think they're going to keep making them for a long time.
At one point they were, but pre-pandemic and stuff, these were 179, 149. They were practically like giving away as doorbusters, and they would run well. Now the early PT111 G2s had issues with the round guide rod spring skipping off the rod and locking the gun. That could happen. It did happen on a few YouTube channels that highly publicized it. So that's really one of the reasons why I bought, because mine was a carry piece. That was one of the reasons why I bought the Lakeline aftermarket guide rod spring, and you can get one from Galloway. They make one for it also. And I got the same tension weight as the factory spring, and that used a flat coil spring, so it was a better spring or a better mechanism. You wouldn't have to worry about skipping off, locking up your gun. But then eventually, I think Taurus changed the spring design so that wouldn't happen anymore. They might have gone to a flat spring, or they went from a flat to a round, one of the two. But either way, they've made that improvement, so that should not be an issue, anymore. A few people complain about front sights coming off because they weren't on properly from the factory, or they had to put some Loctite on it to keep the front side on. I've been having to use. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, that brought me when I got my G3C, the first one. The sight out of the box was so crooked, I had to fix it. So there can be a little bit of quality. It was it was probably canted 15 degrees to the right when it came out of the box.
Oh my god, jeez, man, wow. So I don't know. Yeah, you really gotta be careful with that, because you want to look it over, especially before it leaves the store, and also make sure those sights are nice and tight before you take off with it. So let's see, we have any. Let's see. Warsaw Patriot says all this look like is a Brazilian copy of a Glock. No, it's very different under the hood. Different trigger mechanism. So Raw Feeding 101 says the only one of the new G series pistols that interests me enough is to consider the GX4. Still 9mm, but much more concealable. The other addresses problems I don't have with the G2C. Yeah, I mean, the GX4 is a nice alternative for people that can't afford or don't want to spend $500 on a P365. And I mean, my daily carry is a P365. My bedside gun is the G3C, and the guns I've owned before, PT111 G2s and G3s, been great pistols. They've been wonderful pistols. And also, they offer different colors and stuff like that, which is kind of cool if you're a big fan of OD green or stealth gray or whatnot. So here's your Toro series. And in case you're not familiar with what the Toro is, they've got the Tenefer coated slides. They've got the Glock standard sights on them. They also have an optics cut, and they come with the plates that you need for putting an optic on the top of the pistol. I don't know if they offer this one without a safety. I could see them maybe going that route at some point. And again, I don't know if this particular one, these might all be made in Brazil. Yeah, made in Brazil. There's a few Taurus models that are made in the USA. But this does give you full-size frames, 17 rounds, steel sights if you get the Toro. Again, they've got all the specs for it over on the Taurus website. Mags included too, so you're going to get two 17s. I think at one point they might have offered possibly like a 15 and 17 or two 10s if you're in a freedom restricted state. MSRP $449.65. I think these are $399 if I'm not mistaken at the local gun store. So you can usually get a good deal on them. The other thing I want to show you real quick, a lot of people don't realize that this exists. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Go to shoptaurus.com. They do offer a conversion kit that you can use. Look up the G3 here real quick and show it to you. They do occasionally come back in stock. So Taurus has a whole accessories website that you can go to. They've got parts and accessories. They also have recommended sites, and they've got basically name brand holsters, magazines. So here they got the magazines listed at $36, but you can get them at I know we have them at our local Shields for like $25 all day, different capacities and so on. But they do sell and I probably won't be able to find it, but there's some of the guide rod springs. A conversion kit you can get. Here it is. So it's been sold out on the G3 for a while, but that was the first one to sell out. They finally got these. Are these back in stock? Oh, okay. So the G3Cs came back in stock a little while ago, the conversion kits, and then they just recently sold out. But this gives you an opportunity to convert your G3C to an optics ready version, and you get your steel sights with it. You get the plates for various different footprints of red dot that you want to put on there. And that's only $149. So that's not bad considering, that's about the same price that you're going to pay to get an optics cut done on your gun. And I'm sure there's companies out there that'll do an RMR cut on an existing G3 or, a G3C that doesn't have it. But this is pretty cool. They offer this as an option. I wish they would get these in on a regular basis because I want one for the G3C, and those recently sold out. The G3s did finally come back in stock. So you can get a conversion kit on this one also for $149. And then they tell you the different footprints, Trijicon RMR, Hollow Sun, Leopold Delta, Point Pro, Vortex Venom, Dr. Noblex, Burris Fastfire, Sightmark Mini, and Seymour STS. So it says the kit includes all components needed minus barrel, recoil spring assembly, and is covered by our limited lifetime warranty. So for $149, you can convert your gun if you want to. I had thought about that. What I really wanted to do was get an OD green G3 and then buy the conversion kit because they don't currently offer the Tauruses in different frame colors. But that may be coming, as we had a little discussion before we started the episode. There's a possibility that Taurus may be offering different frame colors if you care. So as for those recoil spring assemblies I keep talking about, so here's a factory. Okay, so these are factory ones. These are only $10, $11.99. They do have the Lakeline springs available, and that might be over on the main Taurus website. So anyway, there's tons of accessories and parts and stuff out there for you. Yeah, and Bitter Taxpayer, I see what you're talking about with the magazines, because I've had people ask me, they've got like a PT 90 something, or they've got a G1 and they can't find mags for it. And like I remember when the TH9 came out, the hammer fired TH9 that kind of looks like the PT111 G2. People were complaining about the previous model that they replaced it with, like the PT809 or something, 909. They couldn't find magazines for it anywhere. If they could, magazines were like $75. So something like this has been in production for a while now. Magazines are definitely not going to be an issue. So you can definitely find them if you look around.
Sometimes when somebody's looking for a less expensive firearm and it takes a detachable magazine, they're just looking at the price of the gun out the door and they're not thinking ahead because maybe they haven't been into guns that long or they haven't had a wide variety of firearms or that sort of thing. And then they come to find out you can only buy them from the manufacturer. They might sell them through distributors like a store or something, but there's no aftermarket support for it or something like that. And you get a $250 handgun with $50 mags that are only available from one supplier. And it's like, if you had known that before, would you have still bought this gun? So the fact that there is, the magazines are plentiful. Now, you said Metgar they make the mags for them, or they make the mags in addition to Taurus making the mags?
Metgar may. The only mags I've ever seen, and I see them in many stores, are actually Taurus made. They're actually Brazilian made magazines. So okay. I don't believe Metgar, at least for the G3C, I don't believe Metgar makes the mags because the magazines say made in Brazil. Metgar mags are made in Italy. So Metgar may offer magazines for it. That might be one of your few options out there, but the Taurus mags are not. If you go to the magazine, like go to your local Shields, right? They've got all the magazines on the wall that you can look at. And typically they'll have the G3C mags and the G3 mags right by each other.
Well, the fact that they come with the extra mags, like what you were saying, is definitely helpful. It's more value with what you get. You know, when you buy it, you're not just getting a handgun and a case. You're getting a couple extra mags, and all that adds up. If you start looking into it, and people can knock Taurus, and I get it. You know, if it's less expensive, initially some people are skeptical, and some of their stuff are copies or similar to other guns because they use the older tooling and that sort of thing. But Taurus also has branched out on its own and done some things that other manufacturers hadn't done, or they did it. They were, you know, using that caliber or that style maybe before some of the other companies. So they're not just we've got old Smith & Wesson tooling, we've got old Beretta tooling. They've really branched out. And I remember when they came onto the scene, what was attractive about the company is they're less expensive and they have a lifetime warranty. You know, it looks like a Smith & Wesson, it looks like a Beretta. You know, before they had these Taurus models out, I mean, that's what it was initially. And Taurus has just branched out with it. Now, yeah, I know they had the quality issues and they had the situation there where they had the 1-year warranty for a while, but they went back to lifetime.
They were lifetime, and then I thought it switched back to 12 months or something, and then it went back to lifetime on certain lines. They were only doing a 12-month warranty. Then they changed it. I did a video on it back in 2017 or 2018 that they brought back the 12-month warranty. Like if it was made before a certain time, it was only a 1 year, or at one point they stopped and said, okay, from here on out, it's only gonna be 12 months. And then they, like a year later, they backtracked and said, no, all PT-111 G2s are covered regardless with the lifetime warranty. I think they were getting so inundated with repairs, they just couldn't keep up, which is, I hate to say it, but Taurus does sell a ton of firearms. And so they kind of finally said, you know, we got to put a stop to this 1 year thing because we can't take any guns after a year because we can't get them back to people, you know? And that was kind of at a peak where people were complaining about months and months and months of after sending their gun in and not getting it back. So I think that's one of the issues that people ran into.
Well, here's the thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Squib.
I was just going to say, that's another reason not to just have like one gun or one of each kind of gun. If you're like, I've got one handgun, one shotgun, and one rifle, what else do I need? No, dude, I'm telling you, after a while, you get to where you've got a summer gun, a winter gun, you've got your backup gun.
No, I do. I've got my walking the dog gun. I've got my I'm wearing a big parka to go on a road trip gun that I don't have to like tuck, you know? Yeah.
So if you
shower good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you have one that breaks down.
Yeah.
Well, if you have one that breaks down, even if it's your favorite or it's your go-to, if it's covered under warranty and you have to ship it out and it's gone for months, you've got other options, right? Or if it isn't covered under warranty and you've got to find a gunsmith, or I've got one that I took apart. It's been apart for 3 months now. I haven't had time to put it back together. I mean, seriously. But I've got, 6 other guns like it. So what do I care? So sometimes having a wide variety of calibers or a wider selection of guns will help you with that. So when a company has something like a lifetime warranty, but they're backed up, and you're going, I have no gun to carry. Well, dude, it's time to get another gun. How about another Taurus?
Yeah, I hate it when people say, yeah, I bought this gun and it's got a lifetime guarantee. I said, well, it doesn't matter if it doesn't go off, or it doesn't matter if you're waiting for it to come back. It's like, you better make sure you have a backup gun so that you have something with. And again, for a lot of people, that might be the first gun they buy, and hey, it's got a great warranty, it's a low price. Okay, but do you have another one just in case that one gets sent off for 3 months, right?
Yeah. And when Taurus changed their warranty, that's when they were still sending guns back to Brazil for repair before they had their U.S. facility for repairing them.
I think it's in Miami, maybe or Bainbridge, Georgia.
I thought it was in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, yeah.
Here's the thing I'll say about it. If someone, a new gun owner or someone coming to purchase their first new gun, asked me what they had a budget of tops 300 or 350, I really can't think of another gun that I would, other than the G3 line, whether it's the full size or the compact, that I recommend. It's certainly not going to be a Sky for the same price. It's not going to be a Stoger.
Can you get a Ruger Security 9 for $350? That's probably not. I don't know. If you could. And real quick about the Stoger. So Stoger's got the STR9, which looks a lot kind of like a modified Smith & Wesson SD9 VE. Stoger finally, I just looked on the website. Now, after like a year or two after releasing their STR9 series, they finally got websites, or they finally have magazines back on the website. So if you have a Stoger STR9, if you go to Stoger's website right now, they have magazines in stock. That's the first time I've seen it in 2 years, which kind of proves bitter taxpayers' point. with what he was saying. Like, you get the gun and there's no mags available for it, you're kind of stuck with the 2 that you have. Let's hope they don't break or wear out, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure there's some magazine support before you buy the gun. And then Defense said you had mentioned that Gun Mag Warehouse does have the G series magazines in stock for $27.99. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I just checked while we're on the site. Yep.
Okay, cool. And Mechar does not make, not that I can see on the Mechar website, they made them for the PT 9299, 100 101, PT 738 TCP. Handguns, they don't do G3 or G3C magazines. So that's, Mechar might have made them at one point, but not for the G series, not the modern G series. Yeah.
Well, and even though I've gotten rid of all my G series, I'm still a fan of them because, like what Good was saying, like at this price point, to still include 2 mags, because so many people that try to get under a price point are only including 1 mag and that sort of thing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's
the value.
Does.
Yeah, the value you get for the dollar for this line of guns. I mean, I don't really think you can beat it.
Yeah, I mean, to get 3 mags, and you're going to get the gun for $249 or $279. I mean, that's even at $299. I mean, the mag's going to save you $25, and like the problem I have with the Stoker is they've got this neat looking pistol, although it mechanically, a few people have questioned the reliability of it. I've seen a few channels that have tested it and it's broken, but you guys will have to do your own research on that. The Stoker, they have for $249, right? But then they couldn't find magazines for it. You only get it with 1 mag and only 1 grip insert on the back. Hope it fits, hope it runs, hope you don't have magazine issues. And
I think
don't get me started on their customer service. So
I think the only better deal I've gotten the last couple of years is on that deal I lucked out on my my SAR 9, but that was that was a Christmas deal.
Yeah, when they had the SAR 9s for how much were they?
It was $219.99 after rebate.
Yeah, and that's a great gun. I mean, it really was.
Now they're selling for $400.
Yeah, people are saying, "Man, buy these while you can." So yeah. You might be able to find some decent guns used. There might be something out there that's going to work for you, like maybe an LC series, Ruger. But yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, JH586 is confirming that it is in the Atlanta area. It's an Atlanta suburb that they're in.
Okay, Bainbridge, Georgia is the address or the the company name that's stamped on my frame. Gun does say made in Brazil, but I think the TX22s are made in the USA and probably the GX4s, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I know the GX4s are made in the USA because people were upset in the Brazilian market. I think they wouldn't be able to get the GX4, or it was going to be easier for people to buy a GX4 because it was American made to actually buy it in Brazil versus buying a Brazilian made gun because of Brazilian law and rules and stuff. Like if they wanted a GX4, they could actually get one because it's made in the USA and not their own country, which is kind of sad but true. So
same reason why they don't import some of the other guns that Taurus makes into the US because of the import laws and ITAR and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Who knows? Looks like we got hey mods. I appreciate you guys keeping an eye on things. So Raw Feeding 101 says the Spectrum is being made in the US instead. It's one of the reasons I bought one for my wife. Has it been reliable? Because I think Gizzard Gary had some trouble with it. They might have had a little bit of feeding issues initially, or some problems initially, but if it's been reliable, then great. If it's been fine with the 380 ammo, then great.
Yeah, the best Taurus had to be the Curve.
I thought the Curve was pretty cool. I just about bought one. Yeah.
It was cool.
Is that cool. Technically? Is it not even your website anymore? Maybe they quit making it. So
it didn't work very well.
It didn't sell worth a darn. It was a good concept.
I thought it was
an interesting concept.
Let's just show some pictures off on this for people because you got to see this. We'll call this the G series that never was, maybe. And I'm not mocking anybody that has one because I thought about buying one. So if you think the SIG with the SIG SAS is original because it's got the sights like molded into the slide, you guys are in for a treat here. So here's your Taurus Curve. So basically, it was a tuckable with like a little Kydex cover trigger guard that would go over it. It was a 380, 6 rounds, and you could get it with or without a laser / flashlight combo on the front. Look at this thing, man.
And it was right hand only too, the way it was molded.
Here's the thing: 20 years from now, Glock's going to release something like this, like a pistol with a belt clip on it, and people will be like, "Oh my God, this design is so unreal!" And us old farts are going to be sitting around the rest home, like, "Remember when the Curve came out and nobody wanted it?" And now these will be like, it literally has a curve in the frame, so it fits your body better.
Well, they marketed it. They marketed it towards women so they could wear it in their yoga pants, and it was molded to curve around the body.
It works well with my yoga pants and my joggers. So what?
Yeah, I've seen you out in those, man. You got to stop that.
Wait a minute, what?
The problem was they didn't work very well.
I wish I could have shot one. I mean, you could probably buy one, out there like on Gunbroker or something. But I mean, look at that. That's not a optical illusion. It really did have and like the magazine would go straight up into. So they had to mold the inside with a curve on the outside, but a straight like cutout on the inside, so that it would actually go straight into the receiver to feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't adjust your TV sets, folks. That thing, it's not like a Wasser Sights. It's not canted accidentally. That is done intentionally.
Canted for I'm not going to say. I was canted for her pleasure. Right.
Yeah, canted for her pleasure. Exactly.
So, I mean, look at the marketing here. Wait, whose curves are they talking about here? So anyway, and it wasn't exactly a tiny gun. I mean, look at that thing. You could probably there's a lot of guns that would fit that kind of form, and do the same thing. So yeah, so the curve is the G series that never was. So this will be on like Forgotten Weapons 50 years from now. Look, made in the USA. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it could probably be on Forgotten Weapons now if Ian had one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Look at that thing, guys. That's just amazing.
You guys mentioned the Taurus Spectrum. I almost bought one of those Spectrums because you could buy a brand new one for like $125 at one point.
Yeah. Sandhills and I, when we were at Wanamaker a couple of years ago, we were looking at them, and the prices varied quite a bit. But yeah, here's your Taurus Spectrum in 380. This is what
I wanted the Stormtrooper edition one. That way, if it
was here you go, that right there, the white.
Yeah. That way, if you couldn't hit anything with it was a Stormtrooper one. You weren't supposed to.
Looks like something that was in the Hunger Games. And it came in a plethora of colors and finishes. Yes, I just said plethora. Look at this, just a rainbow of fruit flavors.
Yeah, go back up a little bit. That other black and white one was the version I wanted. This
one right here,
right there.
Stormtrooper edition. Yep, there you go. Look, you can have it for $199.
No, right on the left side, it had a black slide with it too.
Oh, they made a two-tone. Oh, right here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
There you go.
Ooh, that is tight. Look at that. That is just dripping with swag. Yep. $183.99 if you guys want it. So there you go. Black slide, white frame. Look at that. That thing just screams class. I'm telling you. So anyway, all right, guys. So we're gonna go and wrap it up. It's 7:03. We got to get ready for Sandhill's show here. Go ahead, Rich.
We got a question from Patriot. He's wanting to know if the grip is the part that's curved. Yeah.
Yes.
Patriot, the grip was the part that was curved.
Yeah, the grip. They had actually had a physical curve in the grip, and then they had to have a straight cut up through the grip so that the magazine would go straight up in. But the grip actually had a curve, so it would fit your body better, so it would print less. Yeah.
Yeah, I played with one.
Basically, it would like hug your hip.
Mm-hmm.
I played with one. It was definitely designed for a right-hander. As a left-hander, it was really uncomfortable to hold.
Oh, I can't even. Oh, that would just be awful.
It was like when I shot that Carcano that you had. It had the warp stock.
The warp stock, yeah. Let's see here. So Raw Feeding 101 says the Spectrum is ammo picky, but with the right ammo it runs. Yeah, just 380s can be like that sometimes. It's got to have just the right kick to make it function. Timing's got to be on just right for it to work. So, as a T. Carlman says, as a left-hander, the curve is the only gun I would never want. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I thought it said ever want. Travis T. Yeah, bent guns are not a good idea. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So. Man. All right. So we're going to go and wrap this up. We do have Sandhills Media coming on this evening with the Get Off My Lawn podcast, and I'm usually a part of that. So I want to go ahead and end this one. So we had a good talk, just talking about the G Series pistols. It's a lot of fun and, good stuff. So next week we'll meet again and talk about another pistol that I've got some experience with. And Saturday, I got an idea for the Caliber Corner discussion. It's a topic we haven't discussed for quite a while. I sometimes go back and look at old topics, and there's something we haven't covered in, 4 or 5 years when Bitter Taxpayer and I were still back in our 30s. We like to kind of go back and reflect on those topics. So anyway, let's go ahead and close this one out. So Chris from the 740, putting you on the spot, man. Anything you want to say before we go?
No, thanks for having me on. Sidechat was awesome tonight. I'm
gonna put a link to your range test. You've got your range test up for your G3C. Is that correct? Yep. It's up on your channel. Okay, I'm going to put a link to that to the end of this channel, guys. So in like 15 minutes, you should be able to click on it. You can get to it. I don't usually link at the end of Caliber Corner. I always forget to do that, but you can. You guys can go check out his review on it. It's neat to see new reviews on a gun that's been out for a while, just to see if anything's changed or to see if there's any issues the gun might have that it had earlier in its infancy when it first came out. So we'll put a link to that for Chris. And one last time, Chris, when can we watch you and where?
You can check me out at Chris from the 740 on YouTube, and I put out a new video every Tuesday and every Thursday, and Wednesday night we do our live chat from 8 to 10 Eastern.
Okay, cool. And apologies to everybody. I'm slipping. I usually put out 1 to 3 videos per week every week for the last 5 years. I'm only able to get my podcasts out. I've been able to get to the range for a couple weeks, so it's going to be a while before I put another gun video out, but it'll be coming here soon. I've just been super busy on the weekends with my work and everything, but we'll keep putting content, at least get the podcast out there, and I'll have more range tests and reviews and stuff coming up for you guys too. So get over there and subscribe to Chris from the 740. All right, Defense Dad, anything you would say before we go?
No, I think it had a good chat. It was kind of fun. That was like I said, that was my second gun, so I was kind of, I kind of still wish I had that one.
Yeah.
As far as the channel goes, I haven't put anything on in a couple weeks. I've had company for 2 weeks every day off. But I do have a video, if I can get it finished, coming out of my Work Sharp precision sharpening system.
Oh, cool. All right.
That one's going to take a while because I have got a dumpster fire of a knife I'm going to see what it'll do with.
Oh, will it put an edge on it, man? I don't know.
An old Sharp Model 310.
Ooh, interesting.
Or Model 300, excuse me.
Okay. It's going to be for good. When are you going to have that posted? When's that going to go live?
I've got to film it. I've only filmed the intro to it because this knife's probably going to take a good couple hours of reshaping. I want to see what it can do with this.
Okay.
I bought this knife when I was like 10 years old at a pawn shop with my dad for $3.
Okay.
And it lived life in my tackle box, so it's pretty beat up.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a good test for the system.
Sweet. Sounds good. Guys, make sure you get over to Defense Dad's channel and get subscribed and check it out. G23 real quick says someone needs to mention that Saturday is Every Second Matters. Absolutely. And today is the last day to sign up for the Nebraska Get Together. It's not the last day to sign up for Thunder in the Prairie 2022. It's just the last day if you want to be eligible for the maximum amount of freebies that we're going to give people for signing up after the 31st. We can't guarantee that you're going to get as much as everybody else, but it's kind of an early sign up because we're working with some vendors and we want to make sure we can get everything that we need by the time this whole event kicks off. So that's the only reason why. But
a couple of vendors wanted a list of who's shown up with a channel so they could send them the right stuff is why the deadline was today.
Yeah, so again, it's either defensedad1@gmail.com or thecalibercorner@gmail.com if you're interested in signing up for it, and then we'll give you the password so you can sign up. And then just, explain to you again, understand it's a gun tuber event, but you don't have to be a gun tuber, but understand there's going to be filming going on. I don't want somebody to show up and then be disappointed they didn't get to shoot when they wanted to shoot, what they wanted to shoot, because there's like 20 of us running around filming and shooting and just having a good time. So just kind of be forewarned. So,
yep.
All right, cool. Make sure you guys check out. Also, hey, check out G23's channel. He's got a lot of good shows, and he's really active in the 2A and definitely a supporter of the Second Amendment.
He got a new fancy camera, too.
He did. He got a sweet Canon, if I'm not mistaken, right? He got a nice little setup that he's running now, so definitely up in the optics game, right?
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Got a DSLR to film some great videos. Good stuff. Okay. Also joining us this evening, Bitter Taxpayer. Anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, I don't have a lot of experience with Taurus, but I'm not anti-Taurus. At some point, I'd like to get a Raging Bull, and I kind of like the idea of getting a Raging 30 if they still make them. I know that's kind of really a kind of a niche revolver, but and I might give the G2C a look. That's the closest thing they make to the PT-111, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
that's basically just a better version of it, essentially. Same trigger, but just a few things they pulled off of it that didn't end up, that they pulled off the PT-111 G2. Yep.
Yeah, so,
cool, man.
Yeah, Taurus. I guess I just need to get out there and maybe get some trigger time with some more models of the Taurus guns.
No problems. Hey, I'll bring the G3C with me, and you get a chance to shoot it at some point, so you can see what you think. I think you might like the G3C better. I think it's got a better trigger, in my opinion. But again, that long pull doesn't always work for everyone. So yeah, cool. Raw Fitty 101 out there says, "Do it, Squib." There you go. Peer pressure's on, man. Peer pressure's on. And with the $25 mail-in rebate, hey,
rebates don't work for me because I've had too many rebates never come through. So if they go, hey, it's this much, but nope, that's not going to hook me. I know that works for other people, but the price that they say it is, that's the price they say it is. If I get a rebate, icing on the cake. If I don't, I'm not surprised.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Real quick, Patriot the Dark says, good show. Tomorrow we're taking a trip to get my daughter's shotgun fitted. new gun shop, and I am excited. That's cool, man. I believe she's shooting Skeeter Trap, which is really cool. Competitive, if I'm not mistaken, I think high school level. Again, really, really cool stuff. So good deal.
Yeah,
all right.
she's
Yeah, Rich White, go ahead.
She's shooting competitive because he was asking a bunch of us recommendations on shotguns and stuff. So.
Yeah, and his question, unfortunately, when he was texting me, asking and stuff, I was actually on the road, and then I was trying to help John at the show, and I couldn't get back to him quick enough, and they did make a good purchase anyway for what it's worth. So yeah. Excellent. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, and Squib, the Taurus revolver I wanted was the Raging Judge Magnum, which is the Judge in 454 Casull, but they discontinued that before I was able to get one.
Why would they do that? That? Jeez. Cool, man. So Rich White, go ahead and give us your final plug because we're on you anyway. So go ahead.
Yeah. Again, keep an eye out on the Unloaded Media channel for the review of whatever is in this envelope.
Something groove life. We don't know. It could be groovy. It could be a pair of yoga pants for your Taurus skirt. You know.
If you've watched Gizzard Gary's shows, you may have an idea of what's in here.
Okay. Good deal.
So I mentioned on there what it was, but
okay. We'll sort of make a giveaway out of that one. Go find it and let me know, right?
No, I'm not giving it away. I gotta test that.
Give that. I said I might do a giveaway. Go find out what it is and tell me what you said. I just don't worry about it.
Oh, you want to do a giveaway one? I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, you got to give me one of those expensive Transformers you keep on standby. Since
it's not a Transformer. It's not a Transformer. It's something firearm related.
Oh, that's good. Excellent.
I mean, if you want to see a Transformer, here's a Transformer.
Oh, man, quit teasing me. I never had access to any of these new releases and stuff, and it's just look at that.
This is a tiny little Megatron.
Oh, I thought it was just a scaled down version of what the Ukrainians are blowing up left and right.
No, if you saw the my Let's Go Brandon video when Kingpin challenged everybody, and I had the little Megatron doing the Let's Go Brandon dance.
Megatron is a P-38.
Remember, guns are bad now, so Megatron's a tank now.
Oh, well, Megatron's had lots of different. He went to like a laser gun back in the late 80s.
That was when he was Galvatron.
That was Galvatron. He was a cannon. See, one of the things they did in the newer generations of the Transformers is they did away with the whole thing where they would shrink down into smaller sizes. So they went with a different vehicle for Megatron, a different thing for Megatron, a different thing for Soundwave, because they don't shrink down into, they don't have that molecular shrinkage ability anymore.
Does it ever work out when they do a remake on anything?
It's actually pretty good, the newer
Transformers, because there's been so much that's gone into it, but like G.I. Joe, every time they try to remake them, they just can't capture the essence of the 80s. Yeah, they've even remade the original doll-style ones better back in the 90s than they have the 80s toys and early 90s toys.
If you haven't seen the new Transformers episodes that they've had on Netflix, which are like an alternate reality, but also at the same time the spiritual sequel to the Gen 1 Transformers cartoon that we grew up with, you need to. It's really good.
Missing out? Okay, cool. Before we get to Single Shot, Raw Feeding 101, again, I'm up to episode 81 on my Caliber Corner rewatch. He's going back and he's watching every episode of Caliber Corner all over again. I can't think of any better free entertainment than to go back and watch all of our early episodes of Caliber Corner, because if there's something you want to learn about, chances are we probably covered it in one of those topics. Of course, we were much younger and much more handsome and probably weighed a little bit less back then. And, AWAG was just a little kid. He was just in grade school back then when he was in the podcast with us.
Just a little kid.
He is. I think he's like 8th grade now or something, 9th grade. So
he's younger. He's younger than my daughter.
He's dating girls now. He's growing some hair on his face. So, he's probably listening right now, like, what are these guys talking about? So AWAG's like at least AWAG's probably 11 or 12 at this point. So no, I'm just joking, guys. He was like 19 or 20, I think, when he joined us. So anyway, good stuff. So yeah, go back and watch the old episodes. Or just type in Caliber Corner number 1. We had sometimes we cover multiple topics and stuff in a Saturday episode. So there we go. Let's see here. And Single Shot, anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, not too much. I'm out here on the road, so it's going to be a few days before I get back to the house, and I'll try to get something together there. Hopefully we've lost a bunch of that snow, so I can at least set up a target out back there. Been seeing a lot of deer out back there lately, too, so they're coming out. Want everybody to be safe this week. Take care. God bless. America moves by truck. Check out the 2 channels that I mentioned before there. Rumble on Rumble is Daywolf, and still single shot on YouTube.
Cool. Good stuff, man. All right, excellent. Always good to have you come back. It's always good to get your insight on these things. And man, anytime we got a reloading question that, we got some great reloaders on the panel, we can always throw those questions their way too. So if you guys ever have reloading questions, throw them out there, because we got many years of reloading experience between some of the people on this panel. So that's awesome. Real quick, Rafita 101 again says in episode 81, we're in the SSA days. What that was the Sports Shooters Ammunition. When Foos had his license to manufacture and sell ammunition, it was kind of funny because I was talking about how much I paid for this ammo when I would buy 1,000 rounds, and people were like, "Oh man, you're getting ripped off on a reload price." It was like 1,000 rounds for like $85, 124 grain reloads ready to go, delivered. Actually delivery was like $20. And people were like, "Well, I could get reloads from blah blah blah." And I was just trying to help a friend out by buying ammo from him, right? So and here we look at $81 will get you like 200 rounds now if you're lucky. So depending on where you're buying from.
100 rounds.
100 rounds in some places. It was 100 rounds at one point, $1 a round in some places. So anyway, yeah. Oh, the good old days, right? Oh man. Okay, so this has been another episode of Caliber Corner Weekly Edition. I want to thank everybody for watching. I think there was a few people out there on the Taurus G3C, G2C, G Series owners group on Facebook. I want to thank you guys for watching too. And that's it. We'll meet again next Thursday, talk about another gun. We'll have a Caliber Corner episode this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I'll make up my mind here tonight or tomorrow, and I'll get it posted. Probably won't be a lot of notice for you guys on the panel. If it's early, I apologize. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. I've got some work obligations this weekend. But otherwise, I think that's about it. So well, thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys support rnldisplays.com. Here we go, Chris. Again, a veteran-owned company that these are American-made products. The finest way to display your firearms. Look at that. We got the pistol display right there. We got the AR-15 display. There's an AK-47 display that's in the works too. Fine furniture for your firearm. And yes, to answer the question, they do take lock mags too. So there you go. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. So have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye, Felicia.